We are back again at the Overwatch Open with our second matchup of Group A. This is going to be Dignitas and FaZe, guys, two teams that have huge followings in esports. And we even heard a little bit of exciting news for Dig and their group earlier this week, picked up by the 76ers, a sports ball team, if I'm to understand correctly.
Sports ball team.
That's the
basketball
thing, right?
team, yeah, yes.
Well, you know, why don't we start off here with a deep dive into Dig? Who wants to tell me about that? Internet Hope?
Yeah, Dignitas is probably the Lynx show right now. I think if Lynx performs well, they have a good chance beating FaZe, but it really comes down to him shining. He's currently their Reaper May Genji player. He used to be one of the best Widows in Europe, used to be one of the best Genjis in Europe for sure. And yeah, they had some questionable role swaps lately. Artia switching to Lucio, and then having Toxican on Flex, Bromas on DPS. Pretty much switching Bromas and Artia from in the DPS role on McCree, and I'm not sure. They have been doing worse.
Yes, lately.
And yeah.
I didn't say it, he said it, just to clarify for everybody. But yes, they did. I mean, when they were known as Creation, I think they're a little bit in higher hopes. Since they've joined Dig, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. Back in the day, it was basically 4 European teams, and they all traded matches all the time.
All right, well, let's take a look at their opponent, FaZe, now. This is a wonderful team here. Shadowburn and 2easy, two really fun and flashy players. Chris, what else can you tell me about them?
Well, they're a newly formed team, of course. They basically came from half of REUNITED, half of ONO, 4 and 2 players from each. And yeah, Shadowburn's the star of the show. He's a player that literally will either make or break this team, much like Linkser. I mean, if he can get on fire, if they can support him, then he's going to do a great job. I think when you play a team like FaZe, it's more about shutting him down than anything else. If you can shut him down, if you can keep him, you know, to a low momentum, they're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, I also want to highlight Forsaken. He's going to be like a killing machine with his right clicks on Zenyatta. If this guy picks up Zenyatta, he's going to be peeking around corners and eventually make it a 6v5 early. And
that's an interesting topic, actually, because he's a guy that switched a lot of roles. He was a DPS player.
Yeah.
Then when they were reunited, he moved to the tank role.
Yeah.
But then when they brought in Factor Fiction from Oh No, he then switched to the support role.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of that is happening where DPS players kind of adjust roles, but then they're still amazing at tanker support.
Yeah.
And that has to do with aim and those other mechanics that maybe some other players don't quite have.
Yeah, well, it's important to have an understanding of how all roles work, and it's really such a benefit to the whole team. But if we really want to know how the DPS works, we got to talk to 2easy. So let's throw it over to Malik, who spoke to him earlier today.
All right, thank you very much, guys. 2easy, you guys have been flying all over the place. How have you prepared to come into this tournament and dominate?
We prepared with, we did a bootcamp with C9 in San Jose, I think, near San Francisco. So we did like 1 week of bootcamp there. And then we flew to Atlanta to play here.
Cool, man. So you and Shadowburn have to be like one of the best combos that I've seen in Overwatch. How is it playing with him? You know, how are you guys able to have such good synergy when you're out there playing?
I mean, he's a really skilled player. Like, I don't know if you know his Genji. Like, I think it's like one of the best in the world. So
I agree with you.
Like, when you play with him, for me, it gets kind of easy because he gives me so much space when he plays Genji, for example. So yeah, I think most credit should go to him for sure. Like,
yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when Penny Hardaway and Jason Kidd were in the backcourt, and they were like the best backcourt in basketball. It's like you guys are like the two DPS players that I love watching. Anyways, you guys have Team Dignitas coming up today. What's the game plan going in?
We're just gonna play our own game. Like, we just focus and try not to get like mad when something goes wrong, and then it should be fine, I think.
All right, man. Well, FaZe up. It's going to be super fun watching you. Thank you very much, man, and best of luck to you. We'll do the handshake on camera for everyone to see. And on that note, we're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
The handshakes are back. And 2easy passed with flying color. Did you have to do one of the handshakes, Hulk?
I did some of those handshakes, yeah.
Yeah, how did they go? How did
it was fine, it was fine, yeah. I'm still European, so I have better aim on those.
Oh, well, nice. I didn't know that was a stereotype there. Well, we just saw some words from 2easy here. How well do you know 2easy?
I know him pretty well. I think he's, him and me, we go way back in Beta Phase 1 when he was playing for Fnatic and then REUNITED later. And I always had fun playing against him and REUNITED because he was always like, me and him, we always do emotes and like say some funny
trash
stuff.
Talk
Some trash talk.
He's a colorful guy.
Yeah, he's definitely funny. He's also a good player, but I think he used to tilt a bit. So I hope he has it under control as a team captain of FaZe now.
Even in the interview, you could hear that he said, like, hopefully we can stay under control. And I think they do sometimes have a little bit of issue. I mean, they got a guy like Zoms too, very young guy, known for, you know, having some issues is there as well. So who knows?
He's just building that Zarya charge. That's all. He needs that rage. That helps him. But let's take a closer look at this roster here too as the teams get all set up. Oh no, you know what? Let's just go right into the maps. Hey, Lijiang Tower. We're starting off. What does this mean to start off on this control point map, Hook?
Well, I think always King of the Hill, if you have the stronger mechanical team, you're going to come out with the W. I think FaZe altogether probably have the stronger mechanical team. The other two maps probably more up in the air. Overall, just, you know, if you can hit shots, if you can dictate, you know, who the targets are you call out, then you're probably going to win the match.
Yeah, I agree. I think calling and communication on CoF maps are actually really important.
Yes.
It's super important to go for the same target. Most teams also run like flankers, like Genji, Tracer, Monkey, and you should be, Winston, you should be able to communicate well and jump at the same target at the same time. And yeah, I think it's a great map for FaZe.
All right, and then we have Watchpoint, Gibraltar, Kings Row. Two pretty standard maps. Looking forward to seeing the teams throw down on that. You know, with your vast experience, Internet Hulk, I'm going to let you kick things off with the predictions here.
Anything else than 2-0 for FaZe would be a surprise for me. I think Dignitas has a fair shot of winning it, but it really comes down to nerfs, and they need to bring their A game, especially after their role swap. So I'd hand it to FaZe, 2-0.
I have to agree. I mean, FaZe are a team I've had some experience with. I think they're very strong. Right now, I think they can take Dignitas.
All right. Well, thanks so much for the info. See, now, the teams are taking a little bit extra time, but we're quite lucky because you know what we have, Internet Hulk, is some footage of your match against Fnatic.
Oh, God.
And
oh, God.
we totally trapped you with this. We got you up here. We had to pin this on you. So talk us through what's happening here. Tell us what's going on in the comms.
This is our CoF right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a very rough start on Kings Row, but now on CoF we just said in the beginning of the second map, we just said, guys, you know what? Just forget about Kings Row. We know we got this. We know we're a really good team, and yeah, we just brought the fight to them on CoF, and yeah, we're really confident on CoF at all. And
ever since, you guys just seem to steamroll, especially on Winston. It seemed like you're getting 3 kills, as this was an example, very, very often. What goes through your mind when that happens? Are you like happy? Are you yelling out at all? Or are you just business as usual?
Yeah, sometimes after one fight we get like we get super motivated and we scream a bit. But yeah, like during the fights, I'm just trying to shot call the targets that I'm on. More like MOBA style, where you would call one target like 5 times in a row, Zarya, 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 when I'm on Zarya, and yeah, so.
Are you the main guy that does that? Because obviously it could get a little confusing if you're calling, but I guess you're the initiator a lot of times as Winston, so as soon as you get on someone, you're like, we burn this guy.
Tailspin and me mostly. I think everyone calls. For example, when Chips used to play Zenyatta, he would call a lot as well, because he has Discord on targets and it's important for us to know. But it's mainly Tailspin and me, because he plays the flanker, mostly Tracer, I play Winston, so.
Yeah, and it's so important in Overwatch to do that, to burn targets very quickly, because if you don't, they heal up. It accomplishes nothing. They have as much ultimate charge as you, so it's really fast to know that. And hey, King of the Hill first map, we're going to see that.
Pretty incredible, guys. I actually was surprised that your answer was just not Harry Hooks laughing. I thought that was 90% of your comms there after talking to Hastro. So, I mean, how is it just playing on the competitive level here at an event like Overwatch Open? Because we see these players, we see their faces on the player cams, but we have no idea what's going through everyone's head.
I think everyone is slightly nervous maybe, but for our team, we just were super happy, motivated. We had a really good time. Actually, E-League is an amazing event for players to be, and yeah, overall just a really good event. And we were at Gamescom, our first LAN, but right now it's like we're way more calmer. We have really good communication, and yeah, we have some great games.
That could be an issue actually for FaZe, because I don't think they've played at a live event together just yet. And it's like, yeah, you kind of like kick out the nerves and you realize what you have to do. You guys had that experience at Gamescom. You're doing really well here. We never know. There's always that X factor of who knows how well they're going to do or if they're going to have problems.
Well, speaking of how well we're going to do coming up, let's take a quick look at the matches that we're going to see going into today. We already had a REUNITED versus NIP. Now we're going to have Dignitas and FaZe. Who do you think NIP is going to have to face off against here, Internet Hulk?
I think they face FaZe, yeah.
You think FaZe is going to win this?
Yes.
And I think that'd be a decently close match. I mean, even in the loser bracket, if you go Dignitas versus REUNITED, it's It's going to be kind of close. We got to see. It depends on maps, everything like that, and what kind of phase are we going to see? Are they going to have problems? Or are they going to do well?
I'd actually say NiP would win FaZe 2-0 afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, and I
Committed.
also think REUNITED would win Dignitas 2-0 afterwards.
Very, very
Yeah,
committed to
I think
the
the first 2 group matches are the closest ones.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I think REUNITED and NiP are the best teams in this group. Even though I'm still not 100% sure about FaZe. FaZe could take a game off of NiP, maybe. Yeah.
You're like questioning
I'm not
yourself.
sure, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah,
And the
I
thing
did
is,
make you think pretty far ahead there. But you know what? We'll bring it right back to our match right here, which is Dignitas and FaZe. And I know you did predictions before. Break it down to me, just the numbers. What's the score going to be?
2-0 FaZe.
2-0 FaZe?
same thing.
Huck, you agree?
And the thing is about a lot of these European teams and why Internet Hulk is even questioning himself is that they just haven't played each other. Even the teams within themselves, they're like, we don't really know what other people are doing. There's a lot of strategies that might come out of the thick here. And I mean, who knows? I mean, that's exciting though, right? Not knowing.
It is, and we are just about to get into the game now. Finally, our 2 teams are ready, so I'm going to hand it over to our excellent casting duo. We've got Mr. X and Goldenboy up in the nest. Boys, how you feeling?
Feeling fantastic, Rachel. Thank you so much. And of course, always good to hear the insight of a pro player such as Internet Hulk. I love it.
And I feel right at home, right? We got an Envy player on the desk. I'm going into a FaZe match.
I know,
like,
right? You
like right at home.
Call of Duty player, you.
Right at home.
I am too, so never mind. All right, folks, here we go. As mentioned before, it's going to be time for some King of the Hill. And this is something that, or control, as it is known here. Players tend to call things, you know, like Koth or whatever. So for those of you at home maybe a little confused joining us for the first time here, but here's the thing that Internet Hulk had mentioned at the break. You want to look out for those flankers. Bromas attempted to do that out the start. It just did not work out in their favor here. But here comes Linkser, a player that, you know, again, it was noted, he is a guy to watch on this team. If he's on point, this squad can go far.
Yeah, it's going to be, though, FaZe getting control of the point first. I'm really looking at Shadowburn, 2easy. Obviously, we highlighted both of those DPS players at the beginning of this match. 2easy, he's going to have his pulse bomb already. You know, Factor Fiction, he's getting close to that. No, Primal Rage of Winston. Shadowburn's got the Dragon Blade already, and that is just nasty. Connecting right there. Shadowburn picking up 2. Diving in for more, and he's going to have his teammates there to support him. He is so good on Genji.
Shadowburn, baby!
Filthy.
Bring it
stuff
home.
from Shadowburn.
FaZe up. Oh my God, I can't. This is insane. I just want to say, like, just to be able to pick off those 2 supports right off the break there, that is just, again, Shadowburn, a star player on this squad. While I am a fan of 2easy, I even mentioned it throughout the North American broadcast, Shadowburn is definitely the guy on FaZe that has really captured a lot of people's attention. But here comes Shadowburn with the Dragon Blades, going to cut down Linkser. Not today, he says, going to find Numlock. That's going to be a stop for him as well. And just look here, the way he's focusing down on these supports, moving in, dash, slash, everything you can possibly imagine. He is shredding them right now, and this has been the FaZe show from the beginning. They're keeping him at bay right at that gate.
Well, you know, Factor Fiction uses his Primal Rage of Winston, causes so much chaos. Shadowburn brings out the Dragon Blade, able to finish off a few players. Fantastic hold from FaZe, but Dignitas has all of their ultimate abilities available, so they're going to have to combo some of these. Just look how FaZe is close to winning here, and the Graviton Surge is going to come in. Now Forsaken's going to come in with that Transcendence of Zenyatta. We haven't seen a ton of Zenyatta this weekend, but the Transcendence is such a powerful ability to keep teammates alive. And Shadowburn still going to work on this Genji with the Dragon Blade. He's going to be able to get one. He's going to be able to get taken out by Numlock of Winston inside the point. And Dignitas, 3 players inside trying to take it back.
They're already at 99% here, folks. FaZe has started this one strong. Now it's going to be up to whether or not Dignitas can break this, but Fact Fiction just holding it down, and you have to be so proud of this. Now here comes Rockets to be there for the support. Shadowburn once again is going to be all over them. Bromas trying to see if he can hold this one down, bring his team right back into this one, but it certainly has looked very good here for FaZe, and you have to give all the credit in the world to Factor Fiction to be able to hold that point down and just stop them right in their tracks. This is looking really good. Shadowburn, can someone stop this man, please? And that is going to be a stop for FaZe, a full hold, 100%. I can't even right now.
It's like if you had any nerves, like if your FaZe going to the first one, like you see a teammate do that, you're like, no, we're good.
I can't even.
We're good. It's only a first point, though. I mean, Dignitas still, obviously, a huge opportunity to make a comeback in these next 2 points, but
I can't even right now.
that is just filthy.
That was just
filthy,
disgusting.
filthy stuff.
I mean, like, really. Like, I talked about, you know, my pits being sweaty at the start of the show.
Yeah, we did.
I am definitely sweating right now. Oh, a makeup lady, please come up here. This isn't good. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a start here. I mean, you just couldn't have asked for something better here from FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, and now Lynx, he's going to go over to Mei for this point. So Mei just going to try and slow down the two flankers on FaZe. Obviously, Tracer and Genji very good at just putting a lot of pressure on the enemy, getting behind them, just popping a little bit of damage. Then you have Winston in the front, so difficult to deal with. They're going to try and counter that with a little bit of a Mei.
Numlock looking for anyone to try and push in, just basically be the bouncer at the door, not letting them get through here. And Raucus and crew just doing their absolute best to force their way through. Numlock, though, is going to get shut down, and that is going to be a full takeover here as the point unlocks. FaZe should be able to get this one with relative ease, and they pretty much pick up where they left off.
I love how you compared
point.
him to like a bouncer like guarding the door while FaZe was on the VIP. They went straight past the line.
Yeah.
Took the point there first, and you're going to have the pulse bomb on 2easy. He's going to be able to just play a little bit closer, but this is what they did on that first point. It's just Shadowburn and 2easy just playing right at this choke point, right outside of the Dignitas spawn, and they're just putting so much pressure they're not able to get by.
You know, coming into this tournament, the team that I was so excited about to watch was FaZe, because they're an exciting team to watch. One part REUNITED, one part ONO, and just coming together the way that they have has just been so impressive. And of course, you could talk about Shadowburn all day, because pretty much he has just been a superstar. Genji doing work here, and his shurikens are just so on point there. The way that you're hitting Tracer, who is not a big character, right? It's a very small character on the map, and look at that, just deflects the shot. Oh, never mind, that was going to be too easy. But regardless, though, just his awareness with this character, with this hero, is phenomenal.
And Genji is such like a high skill cap, offensive hero, like damage hero, that like playing him at this type of level is so hard. Like, just he's so agile, and obviously, can do some incredible things, but able to be taken out easy. You see the work that he's able to do. That dash is going to reset as soon as those players that he connects with drop. Now he's going to have that Dragon Blade again. It's going to be Winston tagging him up. He's going to do a nice job just putting down some shots. 2easy as well, dropping some nice damage. Factor Fiction in the kill feed for FaZe, and this should be a hold for them again.
And look at the way he just charges right after that support too. I mean, of course, 2easy and Shadowburn working together. I know we're giving a lot of love on camera to Shadowburn here, because he is just making moves. But 2easy, and you see him on that flank constantly, right? He gets, he gets the buff there with the Harmony Orb, and he's able to just stay alive for a little bit longer. Just the little things, right? The way that these flankers are just working together. You're gonna have this presence from Shadowburn, and then 2easy moving up here, trying to support as best he possibly can. Once again, Dragon Blade down. That's gonna be 2. Fact Fiction taken out as well, and that is just a clean. They haven't gotten a single percent. I mean, this is just absurd.
No, I mean, you heard Internet Hulk and Huck talk about it, before we got into this King of the Hill game, Control Point, that it's all about mechanics and communication, focusing down targets. And with the comp that FaZe is running right now, it's so difficult, because you're so worried about Shadowburn on the Genji, right? You're worried about taking him out first, but then you have, 2easy on Tracer coming from behind, putting down some good damage. You have the Winston in the front causing chaos, and Yada's tagging targets with Discord Orb. It's just a very tough thing for Dignitas to deal with. They find themselves down 2-0 in this Control Point. One more for FaZe, they'll take map number 1.
I'll tell you what, man. Shadowburn ate his Wheaties today. Put that boy in a Wheaties box. That's it right there, man. He is just an all-star, just really shredding here. But now it's going to be Dignitas. They have to answer back. They need to get something going. Momentum is so huge in this game. If you do not have it, you are just shut down from the very beginning. Bromas is going to look to go huge here with his McCree, but he gets shut down by 2easy, who is just splendid on that harass, just pretty much just focusing him down. And you notice, right, that as soon as someone just starts taking damage, FaZe is all over them, and they have nothing to do. They have no way to get out of there, especially for those, like less nimble characters such as Zarya, who can't really evade as well, right? Really just has to rely on the bubble to protect. You just focus down, and FaZe gets a point yet again, and this is looking like deja vu for a second time here.
Yeah, and on the last point, Dignitas, they tried to go with Mei. Now they switch over. They're going to add a McCree. Obviously, McCree's flashbang, very effective at taking out the flankers, and it's going to be Shadowburn just diving in. Kills being exchanged by both teams, and you see, as soon as Winston starts causing that chaos, pulls out the Dragon Blade. He's able to get one, grabs a second, diving for a third. Shadowburn going absolutely huge there with the Dragon Blade. Everybody on Dignitas is dead, and now coming off the respawn, it is not looking good for them, Goldenboy.
So one of the things that was brought up quite a bit in the back when we were talking about FaZe was Shadowburn's Genji, as you guys can clearly tell. And I think that is just like, it's just been absurd how good this has been put together here. But now Zoms is going to be in a bit of a position here as Numlock's going to be focusing him down. Can he try and stay alive here? But there comes a Transcendence, and that's going to keep them alive despite the Primal Raged Winston for the time being. And Zoms with that Graviton Surge is going to focus down on those supports there. But a brilliant play there from Toxican, who kept his supports alive, most notably that Lucio with that bubble, and just pretty much said, no, we need to get back into this game, and took control of the situation. That was really good despite what happened.
Yeah, so you have Dignitas showing some signs of life. Lynx is going to have his Dragon Blade, and then they're also going to have a Nano Boost. And you're going to see the Dragon Blade come out from Lynx. He's going to try and just take out FaZe before they can make anything happen. With Factor Fiction able to take him out, maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Lynx. And the Dragon Blade of Shadowburn is going to come out for FaZe. It's going to be Dignitas able to deal with that rather quickly.
Beautiful
nice shots there from Bromas, able to take out Tracer. And now it's going to be Deadeye coming out, able to get one, and this is going to be a good hold for Dig.
The reason why that Deadeye was particularly special was because it is not going to allow Factor Fiction to stay alive, right? You have a Lucio who's keeping him sped up with that speed boost and then healing when necessary, especially as he comes out of Primal Rage form. But just being able to eliminate him right away, that was a very smart play there. You know, he used an ult. It's unfortunate, but you know what? He was able to get the job done. And now Toxican here, they're looking to do the same thing. They want to answer back. They want to get right back into this game here, folks. Do not count out Dignitas just yet, because they are fighting back and they're forcing FaZe into their spawn, and this is pretty much pushing them with a lot of authority.
Yeah, now off the spawn for FaZe, you're going to have Zoms with the Graviton Surge. Forsaken's going to have Transcendence. Too Easy also going to have the Pulse Bomb. So you could see that big combo with Zarya's Graviton Surge and Too Easy's Pulse Bomb come into play. But on the side of Dig, I mean, you have, you know, your Lucio Sound Barrier, and here comes going to be Bromas with the Deadeye. Has the Nano Boost as well, just being so patient. His teammates dropping, though. He's only able to get one. Needs to go big here, pick up some more kills to hold this point.
Yeah, those were some good shots, but Too Easy, though, man. It will be all over him yet again. Lynxer's going to be all alone, and when you face off against Factor Fiction with that with the lightning gun, and on top of that, everyone else just on you, there's nothing you could really do there. That Tesla cannon just doing work. But in any case, though, folks, this is going to be FaZe getting back into this game potentially, and look at what Too Easy is doing. He's waiting for that prime opportunity. As soon as they push up, he's just going to be on the back lines, harassing their healers, harassing the McCree as well, not really giving him a lot of room to work with. Too Easy on the engagement, finds one. If they're able to take out this McCree, that would actually work really good for them too, because Too Easy won't have to worry about that flash.
Well, I mean, he's just being such a nuisance behind enemy lines, right? I mean, he's just putting down damage. The rest of Dignitas needs to focus on him, but Dig is actually going to push straight towards the point, going to take out 4 members of FaZe. It's just going to be Forsaken, and it's going to be Rockets, the last 2 alive. They're both going to drop. Dignitas going to take the point back.
Big plays there for Dignitas, being able to push out there, not being too concerned with what Too Easy was doing to them. And Toxican could hold him off here with the Graviton Surge, but he's looking for the presence, and there he is. That will be the Winston, who falls right in. Graviton Surge is down, and there goes Bromas, able to pick up 2, and that will clear it out. But now you have Forsaken with the Transcendence. This is simply a stall tactic, trying to work with his other support member. That will be Raucous, but it will not happen. And I'm looking up at the screen here, and Bromas was just going off. You could tell that they have motivated themselves back into this game.
Yeah, so they're just trying to figure out some things that can work against the FaZe comp. And, you know, the Bromas on McCree was very effective. I'd be surprised if they go away from that. Now, maybe FaZe has to adjust. And that's the beauty of Overwatch, right? You know, the meta, you can make adjustments mid-game. You can change heroes mid-game and figure out the best way to take out your opponents. Excited to see what they go with in this next point. So Dignitas still down. FaZe still just 1 point away from taking this map number 1. But now, you know, obviously Dig, they get that first win out of the way, get some nerves out of their system. Maybe they play a little bit better here.
Yeah, I mean, this is not, you look at the other 2 points, I mean, we're coming right back to the original point here when we open up this game and how FaZe just absolutely dominated Dignitas. Maybe it was nerves, maybe they shook it out of themselves at this point. Of course, that has become a big point of conversation here as you play on a stage such as the one being provided by E-League. You know, one has to wonder, like, what are the players thinking at this point in time? But I have to say, that dive from Factor Fiction being stopped right away by Drakus was actually a really good stop there, and allowed them some presence, some room to breathe so that they can go ahead and handle business up ahead. And look at what Toxican's doing as well. I believe he's fully charged off screen, but finally, Bromas will get cleaned up, and despite a good start, they just can't quite follow through.
So that was actually a huge play there by Raucus. So you actually saw Bromas had Shadowburn's flashbang there with McCree, and Raucus just booped him right out of the way. He's trying to line up that one-click headshot with the primary fire. Nice play there from Raucus, keeping his teammates alive, and that's going to be FaZe getting control of the point first. On the side of Dig, what do you have to work with? You have the Deadeye on Bromas, and then you have Dragons getting very close to that Nano boost. Haven't seen Nano have such a huge effect here, but let's see if Dignitas can make something happen with it.
Yeah, actually, that is pretty unconventional, but now it's going to be Shadowburn's time to shine here as he's looking to just do some work with this, and he is shredding everyone. But a nano-boosted Zarya will not be able to stand toe-to-toe with Shadowburn's Genji. They hold yet again.
Yeah, and that was a pretty easy hold there from FaZe, and it is Dignitas using that nano boost. They're gonna have, though, a few ultimates to work with in this next fight. You're gonna have the Deadeye, Sound Barrier, you're gonna have Primal Rage, so you do have a lot of utility to work with. We'll see how FaZe counters. Once Dignitas has used some of those ultimates, then that's when you can see Zombs use that Graviton Surge.
And Zombs is waiting for that opportunity, as you mentioned here, Matt. He knew that that flank was coming. They all did, and they're gonna be able to stop, actually, Numlock right in his tracks, but too easy through that Pulse Bomb, but he was able to stay alive with some great healing. So Numlock able to stay in this fight. Too easy, though, trying to deal with Drakius in the back, and he just waits for his opportunity. Him and Shadowburn working together. It's a deadly combination, but now here comes Numlock. Too easy, just needs to be careful, but that is what that lightning gun does there. It just shreds you, and it just eliminates those flankers. That's why characters like Tracer and Genji just need to be very wary there. Not much they could have done, but it still was a good stop for Dignitas to get on the board.
It's like you see the strengths of Tracer and Genji. They're able to just get to that backline, take out supports easily, and then their weakness, right? I mean, Winston comes in, he's able to tag out both targets, has so much health that they can't put the damage to take him out.
Yeah, and Toxican actually looking to do something very similar, and it's going to group up two members of FaZe into one spot, and they want to rely on Linkser to be able to get these kills, but Numlock, though, moves in Fact of Fiction, finds Shadowburn, takes him out, and now it's going to be up to supports here, and he should be able to survive if he... Oh, he didn't pop it, so they just stay up for the time being, and they are going to reclaim it. They throw down the sound barrier, and that is going to give them that point again. That sound barrier, I have to say, one could question it, but I think that was actually a pretty good play, realizing that staying alive was one of the most important
it's a
things
huge
there.
play. I mean, both supports from FaZe went absolutely huge there. Forsaken takes out 2 inside of the point, and now we heard about all the things he can do with that secondary fire of Zenyatta. You just charge up 4 or 5 orbs, you just throw them at a corner, pre-fire, peek it at the right time, and Too Easy just trying to create a flank opportunity where he can use this Pulse Bomb.
And this is it. Could the battle lines be drawn here? Too Easy's going to move in and get a triple kill. What a play from Too Easy. Just drops that Pulse Bomb, says here, hold this now, and does the business. Finds one more as well, and that is going to be a clear. FaZe will get the point, and that was absolutely lovely. What a play there.
Yeah, and you just saw the patience from Too Easy, right? I mean, he was waiting for that Graviton Surge to come in, just poking behind enemy lines, trying to make the enemies just group up onto the point, so make it easier once that Graviton comes in for him to get that Pulse Bomb down. He drops it, blows up 3 opponents, takes out another one, and FaZe takes map number 1, Goldenboy. Nah. Seems like deja vu of all last year when I casted FaZe, just consistently winning maps. Now, obviously, one of the biggest organizations in esports, huge fan bases over multiple games. Good to see FaZe get in Overwatch, have a fantastic team on the side of Dignitas. So now they did start to figure things out halfway through that game, right? They switched over to McCree. That worked. They couldn't get anything going there on that last control point. But now going into the last 2 maps we have left, they're both going to be payloads. But let's see the play of the game here from Too Easy.
Too Easy, man. I had the pleasure of casting this guy back in Battlefield. He is just such a talented player, finds the triple and follows it up. Of course, everyone focusing down on that discorded Winston, but just FaZe Too Easy doing the business.
We haven't seen a ton of Zenyatta during this, whole event, right? I mean, we've seen a ton of Ana Lucio combinations. We've seen Mercy come in when Farah has played. It's good to see Zen in. I mean, that Discord orb can just do devastating things. If he sits in that back line and he's not getting just chased down and harassed, you throw those Discord orbs down on opponents, are able to target them specifically, and that's when, Shadow Burn can really do a lot of damage. Just dives on those discorded targets can really, really start to disrupt your pushes.
Yeah, and you want to talk about disruption, you got to talk about Shadowburn. This guy, he thrives on aggression. The way that he pushes up and just basically gives you no time to think. Not only is Genji a quick character, but Shadowburn, his mind must be moving a mile a minute with just what he's thinking about doing and the way that he focuses down on targets, dives the back line, able to get those supports, and just really, how do you deal with that, right? Like a player who just understands his heroes so well and is able to execute in these highly aggressive comps here. I love it. It is just such a joy to watch.
And it's just so difficult to do against the high competition. Look, not gonna lie.
There you go.
Yeah,
I ask and Turner shall give. Thank you so much,
I
production.
need some of that when I go home. So I tell you what, my Genji was like, I want to say, my Genji was good. And I'm not a pro player. Any stretch of the imagination. Won't lie to you, but my Genji very good. Like up until I got to the high 60s, whatnot. And then as soon as I got into the mid 70s, I was just an absolute trash can with Genji. Just so difficult to play at a high level. I can't even imagine doing the things that he's able to do with Genji.
Yeah, we can dive into what makes Shadowburn so good, what makes Genji so good. But really, I think the proof was the proof was in the pudding, right? Like it was right there.
I agree with Amelia.
Yeah, Amelia, you get it. Shadowburn's Genji is a nightmare. Holy moly. Holy moly. And I should just say that when I guess, holy moly.
And it's difficult. I mean, what do you do against a fantastic Genji, right? I mean, you got to go McCree, you obviously use that flashbang, maybe slow them down with a Mei, but then you're changing up your whole comp based off of the dominance of one player on the other side.
Yeah, just the aggression on King of the Hill. And we heard the analysts talk about it. We heard Internet Holt talk about it. Just really was something that tipped in their favor. They were able to come out on top, folks. If you're just joining us here, FaZe had an incredible start to this series. Dignitas was able to fight back, so let's not go ahead and, discount them just yet. They are still very much in this best-of-3 matchup, but FaZe will be up 1-0 in the series here at the start of the Overwatch Open. We had a great series just a little while ago against with NIP versus REUNITED, and I was so excited coming into this one for Europe because I was watching, the Lenovo Cup. I was watching a couple of the weeklies as well, and it's just really fun to watch these teams go at it and really see the difference in approaches from the Americas to the European players.
Yeah, it's interesting in an esport, right? I mean, just watching the different styles of play with different regions. And I think something you're going to see when we, obviously deep dive into the European region as we move out throughout the day, as compared to the NA1, is that they're just a lot more aggressive. I mean, it's just a lot you kind of look at how Envy plays in NA, and they're just a lot more aggressive. They just force the action over and over and over. And it seems like that's how the EU teams play as well.
Oh, boy. Well, folks, we're going to get ready for this one. It's actually going to be Kings Row. We're going to dive in for Game 2 here. And this is Group A of the Overwatch Open. Still have Group B coming up. We have plenty of matches to come here, folks. So make sure that you're not switching that stream because you are going to miss some incredible Overwatch action. There you see all 12 players lined up. And again, I'm pumped for this one. I don't even know what to expect just because of how just freaking in your face FaZe was in that game. I knew King of the Hill was going to be a slobber knocker from the very beginning. I just didn't think it was going to be like that.
Well, Kings Row, obviously, some of the chokes a little bit more narrow. It could be something where, Dignitas could try and slow the game down. Maybe you get a Junkrat spam, or maybe you get Mei's Ice Walls in there. Really just disrupt the push of FaZe. And we'll see, it'll be Dignitas on defense. So they're going to have that Mei out. They're going to have Reaper and McCree as well. So they're going to really try and stack up on the defensive side of things, with some high damage characters. They need it to deal with the side of FaZe. And obviously, the offensive team may not have locked in all their heroes yet. I do want to see, it would be fitting to see somebody on FaZe run Widow, but they're not going to do it. Rocket's going to switch over.
Well, yeah, I think he switched
Ana.
over so that he can get that high ground up top, right? You used to be able to just fly up there with Widowmaker and then switch out, at the very last minute, but it doesn't seem like that was what they were going to do. Maybe they fixed that. I haven't even tried in a long time, but regardless, though, look at this here. Look at what 2 Easy did. Get popped up, and that is why
that's pretty awesome.
This game, right, just provides so many unique synergies between the different heroes there. Too Easy was looking for a hook, and he wanted to just find an exposed player and bring him up and just disrupt him from the fight. And that right there is just a perfect example of why Overwatch is so awesome, because you can really mix and match with these heroes and do some cool stuff.
Well, it's really why you want to run a Roadhog at the beginning. You want to be able to get those early picks. It's going to be Bromas, though, able to take out Shadowburn. Shadowburn running Hanzo, another hero that you're going to see occasionally on the offensive side of things, trying to get those early picks. And looks like FaZe backing themselves into a corner here. They got to be careful, because here comes the push from Dignitas, and you see Dignitas getting extremely aggressive in this small corridor where FaZe is just trapped.
This is insane, especially when Numlock is just running through there and having his way. This is absolute brutality there. Numlock, though, looking to go toe-to-toe with Fact Fiction. Fact Fiction can't stay alive, and Numlock will get that clear. And that was like probably the worst situation you can ever hope for. Just a nano-boosted Reinhardt charging up a narrow staircase. There's nowhere to go.
Like Fact Fiction there at the end just has like Reinhardt's shield up as he's just getting beat down with the hammer.
It's like, what are you supposed to do, man?
No, yeah, not really
boy.
much. But here comes FaZe again on the offensive. The May Blizzard going to come in from
And
Lynx.
look at the wall! Look at the wall right there! Did not allow them to push out, and what an exquisite clear here from Dignitas. He throws down the Blizzard. You say, oh, you think you're gonna get away from the Blizzard? No, 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 no. I have another thing that won't allow you to move. And he tosses up that wall. I love that. That was so cool.
Well, now though, for FaZe, you do have the Graviton. Too Easy is going to make the switch over to Reaper. You have Shadowburn. He's going to be able to get one pick with Hanzo. That's huge. He also has his ultimate as well. So look to see that Graviton combined with Hanzo's ultimate. Really a good zoning mechanic.
I was just, I love it. I love seeing plays like that, man. When you know how to play your hero, that is just the coolest thing. And FaZe is getting stopped here. So Dignitas is doing an exquisite job of being able to keep themselves in this one, but Zoms, though, not a lot of charge on that. He's going to look to probably give his teammate that shield so he can build up, but it won't matter. Despite FaZe having a a tough couple minutes, they're able to come right back into this one. They get the cap, and now Dignitas has to get ready for the next phase.
It's a big win for FaZe because, as I was saying, before that fight happened, Zoms had the Graviton and Shadowburn had his ultimate as well. They don't have to use either of those to win that fight and start moving the payload. Raucus, he's going to have the nano boost. Forsaken with a sound barrier.
And he's got visual on him.
Oh yeah, he knows exactly where the arm. He's going to spot him up top. Going to have to try and back out. Dodges the wall, and he's going to get a little bit of a speed boost there to help him. So nice disengage there from FaZe, but they're going to lose Factor Fiction before the actual fight goes down. They're going to try the Hanzo ultimate. Does not work out. Only able to get one with it, but FaZe now going to nano boost the Reaper. This is what we've been seeing all weekend long. And now Shadowburn needs to go help his May player. Nice play there, helping out his supports. Shadowburn doing an excellent job on Hanzo.
Yeah, again, right, you talk about a beautiful shot, but you talk about what Hanzo brings to the table here. Synergizes very well with the Graviton Surge, but also does a good job synergizing with Reaper, as you saw just a little while ago, right? When you're able to throw down, that visual, right? When you're able to see where your opponents are, that's something that is very unique to Hanzo that he brings to the table, especially when you're looking to dive in with, if Too Easy did have Death Blossom, that would have been great. But needless to say, though, this is looking like to be a very interesting battle, because Too Easy's going to dive right in there, and is he able to follow through with a couple kills? They will have a sound barrier down, and he's got to take out this May player. That would be Lynxers, who just manages to stay alive, and Too Easy's just waiting because he knows that it pretty much was dead to rights in that situation, and that is going to be a push through. They're going to make their way forward to the second checkpoint, add more time to the board here. Here we go, final run. Let's see what Dignitas is made of.
And Shadowburn has done an unbelievable job just getting picks with this Hanzo. He's able to take out the opposing team's Ana right off the rip. And
he's committed.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen some Hanzo during the event, but usually you don't see it go all the way to the end. Usually it's a first point trying to get an early pick, but he has been extremely effective with it this entire first half of King's Row.
It's just, again, right, just trying to get the visual and get an idea, because they're not going to expect that coming through, and that is going to be a good pick on Numlock, but now Toxicant and the crew will run in. Bromas able to get a triple, and that would have had to have been with the Deadeye. Yes, it was, so good work there from Bromas to get that clear. Now Lynxers there looking to just freeze out, and Zoms just couldn't do anything again. Zarya just doesn't have fantastic mobility, and when you're being frozen, you're pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that is going to be a clear for Dig.
Yeah, and Dignitas going to push up a little bit over towards this choke. They're going to try and put some damage down, force FaZe back a little bit. No, heal up before they come and try and force this next engagement. FaZe does have the nano boost to work with on the side of Dig. They have no ultimate abilities right now. They're going to get close to the sound barrier, but there's going to be the nano boost onto Winston for FaZe. Going to go in, try and kite a ton of players, do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but you know what? The nano boost was able to force them back, right? And that gives them that opportunity. That's what, you know, Winston is so good at doing diving in, but Shadowburn doing his best to try and stay alive. I don't think that's really going to happen so much. And Bromas with 2 HP, still being effective and picking up kills. That's what you like to see. And this is another clear for Dignitas. That was a nano boost that was used, and I like where their heads were at, but Dignitas read that one like a book, and they stopped it in its tracks. And now they have a lot of ults to work with.
Yeah, and Shadowburn, he's gone off of the Hanzo now. He's going to go run in May. So Dignitas, they do have a decent amount of ultimates. You know, they have 3. They have the Deadeye again. They have Sound Barrier. They should be able to win this next fight.
Well, let's see how this works out for them. Of course, plenty of time left on the clock here, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Shadowburn, though, little May versus May action. The 2 stars for their team, Shadowburn and Lynxers going toe-to-toe with one another, having to back away. And there goes a Blizzard, and that will be in favor of Dignitas. And a Graviton Surge is going to drop. That will be in favor of FaZe. And Numlock just gets pinned down because of that Blizzard as well. He's in a very bad spot, trapped in between this wall. And you know what? That is going to be a great clear. Look at Shadowburn just trying his best to keep holding back Drakius. And again, right, it's just those little things when you're able to pin someone down and force him into an uncomfortable situation. Luckily for Drakius, he had support.
Yeah, you know, it's Lynx, Drakius, and Artier able to hold that down for Dignitas, and they still have that Deadeye on their McCree, but now look for 2 easy to try and get behind enemy lines. The nano boost comes in from Ruckus, and they're going to try and break this.
They only really have this Deadeye here to work with. No ults just yet, but now it's going to be 2 easy as he pushes in, and now flying in with the Death Blossom, but gets stopped right there, gets flashed if I'm correct, and he will be discorded, but it won't even matter. Not discorded, but even then he just gets bionated. No health regeneration, no problem. 2 easy just continues moving this one forward along with his teammates, and that was a good clear from them. Bromas still holding on to that Deadeye. Very hard to deal with that Reinhardt shield, which will be down. He's going for it. He might try and make a shot happen, only able to get the support, but still, that's going to be a big win. Shadowburn now drops down that Blizzard, able to find this Zarya and just stops her right in her tracks. And look at the players who are frozen here. This could be a win for FaZe.
Yeah, they focus down that Zarya, and now it's going to be FaZe trying to push through. They're going to trap the remaining of players from Dignitas inside that Graviton.
Earthshatter.
You see an Earthshatter come out from the side of Dig. Numlock able to take out 2 players. Shadowburn trying to stay alive near the payload, but a fantastic Earthshatter by Numlock swings the fight in Dignitas' favor.
It looked like a FaZe victory, but Dignitas were able to come out on top, and they dropped the Blizzard to boot to make sure no one gets through. That's going to be a hold, and FaZe gets 2 out of that one. But still, though, that was quite a battle in that last point. Really just well done defense from Dignitas. FaZe had some great ideas as well. It really just came down to those clutch situations. I have to say, man, just, again, very, very impressed with Dignitas going into the second game after how the first one started.
Yeah, and it was a big Earthshatter, right? I mean, it was a fantastic, Blizzard plus wall from Shadowburn, right? He's able to take out that Zarya. But once they start to push through and Reinhardt comes back into the mix, Bromas takes out the Lucio of FaZe with the Deadeye, and then the Earthshatter comes in from Numlocked, and Dignitas able to hold on.
All right, folks, as we get ready for this next one here, let us know who you think is going to take this one. Make sure you use that hashtag OWOpen. Can FaZe win this one 2-0, or will Dignitas push this one forward to a game 3? And, I'm trying to remember who it was, but I believe one of our analysts did say that if FaZe didn't close this one out with a 2-0, that was not a good look for them, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, Internet Hulk, he was surprised that if FaZe did not 2-0 Dignitas, it was not looking good for FaZe moving forward. But obviously, FaZe going on the defensive side of things here. Dignitas still has a lot of work to do. They're going to be able to take this map, force the game 3. Game 3 would it be on Gibraltar? The only 3 maps in this series. Obviously, if you're just joining us, Lijiang Tower. First map went to FaZe, pretty commanding fashion. And then now, I think map number 2, King's Row, where FaZe gets 2 points. You see how close they get to completing the map. Now Dignitas' turn on the attack.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting here, folks. What is Dignitas going to do? What are they going to bust out to try and give themselves a quick cap to be able to progress this payload forward and add a lot of time on the clock here? FaZe is out of time. You know, they have nothing to work with in their time bank. So but regardless, though, if Dignitas is able to get 3 points and they get it to that final part, right, the checkpoint, you can say this will be a 3-2 win here for Dignitas. In any case, let's go ahead and see what's up with Linksers here as he's hoping to be able to get a couple picks, and they're going to get this push happening right on the upper ground, and FaZe is going to let them move in here just a little bit, just realizing that they can go ahead and take this battle in the open space if need be. But look at Linksers there. What a shot. Rockets just could not do anything there. And that is unfortunate for them because they're going to lose a huge support character. We've seen the impact that Ana has had throughout this entire competition, and Linksers just continuing to do the damage and take advantage of those angles.
Yeah, and that's a huge pick because it seemed like FaZe playing a little bit further back, trying to play for that nano boost. As soon as Ana drops, you're not able to do that. You lose a little bit of sustain, and now it's going to be Dignitas with a quickness taking this first point. Going to get the payload as well. They're going to have nano boost and a Nurse Shatter to work with, so it could not go better for Dignitas here at the beginning.
Don't forget Bromos's Deadeye as well. Could really cause a lot of problems. Look for Linkser to be able to take advantage as well. And honestly, this has just been this is exactly what I said Dignitas needed to do. Come out strong out the gate, get that first point there, and just really add on to that time, take advantage of the opportunity provided to you. How is Dignitas going to approach this FaZe as well, trying to look for some answers? Zoms does have a Graviton Surge, but now you're going to have Numlock moving in there with that nano-boosted hammer just swinging away. Bromos able to take 2 with that Deadeye, and that is going to be 4 cleared, so now Too Easy and Shadowburn, the 2 DPS characters, realizing without support, we're just going to have to back away.
Yeah, and Dignitas going to be close to that Graviton Surge and Hanzo ult combination, so you would have that for this next fight, but looks like FaZe going to back all the way up. They may have one more chance to push this, as you see Reinhardt, Factor of Fiction, coming around the corner, and it looks like FaZe is going to contest this.
All right, well, now oh my goodness, Linkser's going to drop his ult, able to pick up 2 there, looking for some more, but he's going to get pinned. That's unfortunate, and that will be a quick clear there. Bromos, though, was able to drop Factor Fiction for himself, and that will be a checkpoint. So despite good effort there, it still gave Dignitas the cap, and they're going to add even more time. A 5-minute, 34-second hold
like
for FaZe is going to be hard.
It's like an eternity that Dig has to work with here. And Dressy is doing a good job getting that healing from a distance. Makes Ana so strong that she's able to charge her ult so fast, able to do the healing from behind cover. You saw it there in that last point. Now it's going to be Dignitas moving the payload. Numlock has that Earth Shatter, went big on the defensive side of things with it. Can he make it work here on the offense?
Not looking for the opportunity that they were looking for. Numlock just gets shredded right away. I mean, he got hit with that bio grenade and just could not do anything at that point. Toxicin wants to get something as well, but it really will not come down to much here, as Dignitas is going to have to back away, realizing without Numlock, without our lead blocker, so to speak, to use a football term, it's going to be hard, right? They just need to be able to work together and now push this one forward. And again, I've been liking Linkser on this Hanzo, man. He's been doing a lot of work. He's been making it happen. He's probably looking to be able to build up to that Dragon Strike as well, and probably coordinate with Toxicin when the time is right.
Yeah, it seems to be what they're trying to plan. They're going to back out because Factor Fiction's going to actually be nano boosted as Reinhardt. Too Easy trying to get around the corner, use the Deadeye, not able to pick up anybody with it, but forces Dignitas all the way back. Now going to be Dignitas coming on an offensive. They're going to have the Hanzo ult, they're going to have the nano boost and sound barrier as well, so you expect them to use a lot of these here.
Here we go, folks. A lot of action here as Linksers and Numlock pick off 2, but our tier can't stay alive, so they're going to lose out on that Lucio. But it won't matter because Dignitas come out on top with this one, and just look there, right? He's able to get that vision, knowing when they're going to push up. Surely they know that they have to push up through the right side. Maybe that's where he drops that Dragon Strike. But look here now, you're going to have the Dragon Strike out there, and this could very well be it if they're not careful. Toxicin, though, is going to get dropped. Luckily, they're going to have that Bow Grenade from Ana to continue to heal them. Numlock continuing to swing away as well. Zoms is going to get dropped there, and Shadowburn picks up 2. And this is not looking too good here for Dignitas. Artier's trying to keep his team in this one, though, as best he possibly can, but he's going to lose that tank. They do have They do have Toxicant pushing up, but this is a disengage written all over it for Dignitas. Not much they could really do here, and they have so much time to work with.
Yeah, and FaZe switches over, some of their heroes to ones that they can get back to the payload a little bit faster. That's why you see D.Va come out. Too Easy switches originally to Bastion for that last one, gets taken out right away. Now goes over to Tracer. So we'll see if they stick with this comp. It's actually making Factor Fiction switching over to Winston. So a little bit more of an aggressive comp coming out here for FaZe. You're gonna have Genji and Zenyatta as well. No Ana on the side of FaZe, so they're going to be running with a Lucio as well. So you will not have the nano boost.
Interesting. They're looking basically to be able to just outmaneuver them. And of course, Lucio's healing is phenomenal. So the sound barrier is a great survival tool as well. Too Easy's going to go in there. He's going to drop one. That will be post bomb. Nothing for that one though. And now look at Too Easy, the way he's just trying to focus out on these supports and playing the back lines. This is going to be a very stressful situation here for Drakius because he knows that there's just not much he could do. He has to focus on his teammates, and Too Easy's able to pick up that kill. And that's going to be yet another stop here. Now the Graviton Surge is out. This is looking really good for Dignitas. They're able to get the clear now. Can Shadowburn and Too Easy do it? No, they can't. And Dignitas are going to be able to get 3 and take game number 2. We're going to, what was our final map?
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar. So I did not write it down, but you know what? Doesn't matter because this has been an incredible series thus far.
Yeah, and, I'm sat right next to the Dignitas team, and you can just hear them. As soon as they get that first pick in a fight, they're all screaming, all hyped up, just pushing forward, bringing the aggression to FaZe. And right there, he knows Too Easy and Shadowburn trying to stay alive at the end. Just could not make it work. Too Easy goes all the way out. He tries to take out the Ana on the opposing team, gets her, but the rest of his Dignitas is like pushed up over by the payload. Couldn't really get back in time to make a play.
Yeah, I was really focused on what Too Easy was doing because it really looked like he was, he was really trying to just focus down on supports, of course, do the job that Tracer is needed, right? Like, she is a great flanking hero. Too Easy, great at that role as well, just plays it to a T, but really, it just boiled down to a really well-timed Graviton Surge as well that just stopped any kind of momentum that Too Easy and her crew were able to pick up, that FaZe were able to pick up. And then at that point, it was just curtains for FaZe. And now we're going to be going to game 3, and this is kind of what we were talking about before, right? Where it was believed that if FaZe weren't able to close it out in 2-0, this could be a little concerning for this squad. But, I just think a lot of people are maybe selling Dignitas short.
Well, Dig, they come in, obviously, they have some role swaps, wasn't working out for them that well, a lot of just kind of, usually when a team is just not really kind of set in their own roles coming into an event, usually, obviously, you would favor a team with talent like FaZe going up against them, but Dignitas seems like they're starting to click, starting to put things together. It got better towards the end of that first control point on Lijiang Tower. Then you saw it get really good there on map number 2, Kings Row. FaZe has to be very nervous coming into this final map.
Yeah, this is, and when you get shellacked in game 1, the way that Dignitas got beat up, like there's only one way to go, right? Up. You just have to set that one behind you.
I know they're owned by the Sixers now. They looked like the Sixers in game number 1.
Oh. Brutal. But you know what, though? It's been very impressive.
I actually think the Sixers are going to be great this year.
Look at this play right here. Look what May is able to do. It has to be frustrating to play against someone like that. We praise Siegel for the mechanical ability that he has with May, but Lynx are basically doing the same thing there and just dancing. You just got to be happy with that. Again, I think it's just
say endothermic blaster 3 times fast.
Endothermic blaster, endothermic blaster,
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I really can't say a lot of things, so it doesn't.
And she just has a lot to work with in the toolkit, right, man?
Ice gun. Ice gun works.
Just a secondary fire, able to shoot those projectiles at range. They do a ton of damage. You stop some of those flanking heroes up close with the primary fire. And then obviously you're able to get into that ice block, stay alive, heal yourself, and then put up walls. It's a great stalling mechanic. And then I know throughout the entire weekend we've talked about how effective the walls are. Separating on the defensive side, like separating the offensive teams, trying to make a push, catching 2 or 3 players on one side of the wall. You're able to focus them down, take them out. Then we saw it in the last series. You drop down a wall, save your teammates from fire coming in from the opponent. So many different uses. We've seen it with boosts for teammates, right? So a lot of different uses that May can be viable in all different types of comps on the offensive or defensive end. But it's going to be game number 3, Watchpoint Gibraltar. It's going to be FaZe versus Dignitas. Excited to get into this one. Goldenboy, FaZe, their backs against the wall. They come into this one. Pretty clear-cut favorite. Dignitas, a lot of role changes recently. making a very nice showing here in their first match.
Yeah, I mean, both sides really, you know, with the really just the presence that FaZe had on King of the Hill, or excuse me, Control, Koth, as the players have called it as well, you know, with just the way that they just pushed them to the limit on that one. FaZe looked phenomenal, but then Dignitas with a brilliant hold at the end against FaZe's unrelenting attack. And now they were able to just bring it right back. They're still in this one, folks. Dignitas could very well take it. We could see FaZe going down to the lower bracket. Or will FaZe be able to answer back here? We've seen a lot of unique holds, you know, as far as like just holding down the spawn room side, right? Really letting them progress that payload forward, realizing you just want to be able to just have presence up front because you want to get back into the battle as soon as possible.
You can do it, Hog. There you go.
You could do it, Fat Man, I believe. And are we going to see some Himsy hooks here? Because at this point, Himsy is the gold standard of which we hold, you know, all Roadhog players to moving forward. And he is just such a phenomenal player. We'll see him later on today, of course. But now it's going to be Lynxer's time to shine here as he's going to just push up right in the face of Zombs, looking to get a hook there and just get in the face, but gets pinned in turn, trying to stay alive as he gets just absolutely whacked with the hammer. But luckily for him, had some support from his fellow Zarya. That will be Toxicant, and they are able to get that one really quick. Add a lot of time to that scoreboard. Dignitas looking good.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you know, Lynx with some fantastic hooks there at the beginning. That probably is even faster in favor of Dignitas, but on the other side, Zombs putting some nice barriers on teammates that were getting hooked. But Dignitas takes that first point with ease, and you see his teammates going to try and focus on that high ground, get control of the bridge. It's a very crucial position if you want to push through.
And this is a very tough attacking phase here, folks. I mean, defense can hold this one out. We've seen teams pretty much stall it out completely. It's a challenge, right? It's a challenge for the attacking team. But you know what? Dignitas, though, they're pushing up wonderfully. And just look at that Earth Shatter that just brought him down. Numlock with brilliant work, but not today, Bromas. You just had to get stopped in your tracks. Fact or fiction, he had other plans. Too easy with the Reaper, looking to shut him out. And that's going to be a hold for the defense. FaZe doing a great job here.
It'll be interesting how FaZe plays this on the defensive side of things. They're going to play more focused around the payload. They're going to try and get that top carrier control. You can see it looks like they're going to play over towards that payload. They're actually going to try and move their way up top. You can see Lucio on your screen, you know, through that X-ray, moving up towards this top. Bromas in position to make a big play, though, here.
And you notice that player who was sleeping there, right, taking a little nap. Typically, you don't want to focus that player because you just want him out of the battle completely. And that was a smart play from Bromas as they push up. Now there comes the Death Blossom, but not today, too easy. You can't pull a Buds off, and he will fall. And this is going to be Dignitas rolling this one forward off the spawn here. You could potentially have Fact Fiction pushing up, but I think they should be able to get this. Yes, they do. That's going to be 2 points.
And we've seen Reaper's Death Blossom just make some huge plays over the whole weekend, but now I feel like without Nano Boost with it, I mean, unless you're just hiding behind enemy lines, catch them completely off guard, these teams are so talented, they're able to sustain right through it.
Bromas looking for an opportunity here. And of course, Lynxer trying to get those hooks, trying to just disrupt the enemy defense now. And also, I just got to give a huge shout out to Numlock, who's just had some incredible plays on tank, right? Here it goes, though. Bromas moving in. He's going to find one. That's going to be a good stop for him, just taking out a very game Raucous there, who had a nano boost as well. Keep that in mind, right? That does change the fight quite a bit. Now the nano boost is going to drop for Numlock, trying to keep teammates alive, but Numlock says, no, you're not going anywhere. Finds one, looks for the double, and that's
poor
going to be a
Lucio.
clear.
Lucio just trying to, you know, play some music there, just gets beat with the hammer of Numlocked. It's going to be Dignitas continuing to move the payload with relative ease here. And
All he wants to do is play music.
Yeah, all he's trying to do is play some tunes, man. Just leave the man alone. But Link's going to have that whole hog. You're going to have that Zarya Graviton Surge as well. So that's great here on the last point to just trap people in the spawn. It's going to be whole hog of Lynx pushing forward, though, trying to take out targets on the side of FaZe. Not coming up with anybody, but it's going to be Token able to get two. And now it's going to be Numlock pushing forward as well. Taken out too easy. It's going to be FaZe trying to hold on here.
And that was a pretty good read from FaZe, not to get into the thick of things, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't seem like that was working out because they did end up getting cleared. And now another Earth Shatter, another Numlock Earth Shatter, people. He has been playing out of his mind, and Dignitas are going to be able to pick up 3 with plenty of time left on the clock.
That is not good for FaZe. FaZe, it seems like, you know, the nerves like really trying to set in here. You know, your first match, obviously, both teams. But look how calm and collected Dignitas looks right here.
I don't even think it was nerves, man. I just think Dignitas, they had a plan. They stuck with the plan. Numlocked, he had some incredible earth shatters. You can't really argue with that, right?
Oh,
like,
no, they played amazing.
They just didn't have an answer. And really just the way that they were able to keep everyone away from the fight. I just kind of want to touch back on that Zarya play at the end there, because, you know, you had Linkser come out with that whole hog and he wasn't able to pick up any kills, but what he was able to do was just drain health. Right, and he separated they separated them completely. They weren't able to work together. One of two things could have happened there, right? They could have been thrown together and just get absolutely obliterated, or they would have just, you know, exactly as you saw, just been separated completely. And just look at that final Earth Shatter, right? Just stopping Too Easy and Zoms from doing anything. And again, Too Easy with Genji, you're able to just fly around and just stay up as much as you possibly can. Just wasn't really happening there. Wow, just really well done from Dig.
And Toxican was a big part for Dignitas as well on Zarya, doing a nice job. I mean, every time we saw him, he was all charged up, you know, 90 to 100. Just did a fantastic job just collecting that damage and then outputting it. But you see Numlock making some big plays as Reinhardt during that one. Now it's going to be FaZe's turn to go on the offensive. See, on the side of Dignitas, they're going to go, with McCree, Zarya, Reinhardt, Mei, Lucio, and Ana. So they're going to have that nano boost. See who they give that to. Most likely it's going to be Numlocked on Reinhardt. On the side of FaZe, they're going to run a Roadhog. Too Easy is going to be on that. Look for him to try and get those picks. And they're not going to go with a Lucio. So very interesting. Lucio is a hero that's typically in most, if not all, team compositions in Overwatch. Just does a fantastic job with his AoE heal and speed boost. Such a crucial part. They're not going to have that at the beginning.
Seems like they really want to be able to discord and focus, right? That is definitely what Forsaken's Zenyatta brings to the table here, and maybe, you know, you can get some good Shadowburn plays as well potentially. I mean, who knows what they're really going to try and aim for here is Too Easy and company. Too Easy just wants to get those hooks. He wants to be able to disrupt as much as he possibly can. Continue to progress his payload.
I love when you see like Roadhog just trying to get sneaky. It's like he's such a large target. Like they definitely see you behind that box up there, buddy. But it's going to be FaZe trying to push underneath the bridge. Shadowburn leading the charge, and he's going to be nano boosted. He's going to fly in, put down a lot of shots on Zarya, trying to connect with a kill. He's going to be able to take out Toxican and Numlock. 2 big kills, taking out the tanks of Dignitas, and now it's FaZe with a very good offensive push here. The Deadeye comes in from Bromas, picks up 2. Linkser picks up 1 as well, but it should be FaZe pushing forward with the payload.
Did you see right there, Raucus actually put Bromas to sleep while he was in Deadeye state. So that was just so excellently done, because Shadowburn realized that you had a teammate with barely any shields remaining in Reinhardt and Shadowburn exposed. That could have gone bad, but it was really well done. Anyway, this payload is so close to getting there, but Dignitas were able to get at the last second. Bodies on the ground in front of the payload, and now they're just going to try and push them back. FaZe is waiting again for another opportunity to attack here, and maybe Raucus just tries to coordinate with Shadowburn to go for the Death Blossom.
But they got to disengage. I mean, they got teammates dropping left and right. There's some Raucus putting down some shots here with Ana, but his teammates trapped behind the wall, tries to connect with the Bionade, trying to get that healing through the ice wall, just does not connect. Now it's going to force FaZe disengage. Go all the way back out. They have a lot to work with, though, right? I mean, they have Too Easy with the whole hog. They're getting very close to a Graviton Surge. And then Shadowburn, Raucus with their ultimates. Look to see those comboed. Try and break open this Dignitas defense.
Shadowburn just needs to be careful, because as soon as he goes down, I mean, I can only imagine a Numlock is waiting for him, to do that, right? To dive in with it if they decide to go that route. Here they go. He's going to fall down. Death Blossom is going to come, but he ends up getting bubbled by the Zarya. That was so well done. Zoms timed that. He timed it wonderfully, and that was such a great synergy between those heroes. I have to say right there, those little details in Overwatch make me appreciate this game so much. But despite that, though, despite that effort, Dignitas, they were there for the read yet again, and they get the stop. But man, that could have been brutal for Dignitas if FaZe were able to get that off.
And now FaZe with only a minute to go. They need to come up with a big play. Shadowburn's going to switch over, go with the tried and trusted Genji. Zom's going to have that Graviton Surge on Zarya. Don't have the Dragon Blade, obviously, because Shadowburn just switches over to Genji. But Numlocked has the Earth Shatter. Linkser has that Blizzard. So look for those two abilities to actually probably be saved when Raucus uses that Nano boost. They're two abilities that are great to take out Nano, and it's actually Linker's using that Blizzard to stay alive through the Graviton, but it's going to be FaZe picking up some kills, trying to get on the offensive.
You know, one thing that I noticed too is FaZe put so much into that last fight, and it was do or die. Just, again, very well done. They needed that win so bad, or else they would have been held off. Fact Fiction showing up big, and really, when in doubt, just get Shadowburn back on that Genji to do the business. And now they're going to be able to continue to fight through this one. But again, folks, I mean, time is of the essence, right? Because if they are able to get those 3 caps, they have to be very concerned about all that time that Dignitas has to be able to get a point.
Yeah, we can talk about some hero changes here in the middle of the game. 2EZ was on Roadhog earlier. Now you see him here on McCree. On the side of Dig, we're going to see Soldier come out from Broma. So Soldier just trying to put down a lot of damage at range.
And this is the very contemporary 2 tank, 2 support, 2 DPS comp that a lot of players have grown to love in Overwatch. But here we go. Shadowburn, though, able to find 2. He's going to have that Dragon Blade. That's going to be a 3rd kill for him. Maybe looking for another one, perhaps. That will be a discorded Zarya, who just could not stand toe-to-toe with the burn. Feel the burn, and they are able to get this one, progressing this forward.
And he is so good on, like, Genji. It was a question, like, why even go away from it? Like, right? I mean, he's so talented. It's going to be Dignitas here. So trying to get onto the point, trying to contest here. FaZe trying to get to this 2nd checkpoint. It's going to be Shadowburn on Genji, dashing through opponents, trying to stay alive, gets connected with on the Earthshatter, but it doesn't seem like they take him out right away. Finally, he is dealt with. It's going to be a Dignitas hold. Fantastic team kill there, coming out of Dig.
Bromas, man, I mean, great shots from him. Also, that again, numlocked with yet another big Earthshatter, because if you allow Shadowburn to have his way in the back lines, you're asking for trouble. So they had to shut that one down as soon as they possibly could, because he was going to go on a tear. And I like this as well, right? They're protecting Bromas. They're giving him opportunity to be able to get some shots off and do some work. But here comes that nano-boosted Reinhardt, as well as Bromas dropping down here. Numlock looking for it. He's trying. But you know what, though? I have to give credit where credit is due to Raucus trying to just stay alive with that bio nade, but it was just not enough in that particular juncture. And this is going to be yet another Dignitas hold. 52 seconds left on the clock here. If Dignitas do this, they will take this series and I'm sure shock our analysts for sure.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job controlling the high ground. FaZe is going to have to figure out a way to just break through the Dignitas setup. 39 seconds left. You're going to have Shadowburn with that Dragon Blade. 2EZ. He's going to have the Deadeye. They do have Nano boost as well. So here you're going to see Shadowburn with Nano and Dragon Blade come through, trying to take out backline players. And he's going to get pinned down and taken out. Big play there from Numlock as he's able to get 2. FaZe crumbling here. 20 seconds left. Dignitas, all they need is this hold.
This was so well done. I mean, Fact Fiction was really causing a lot of problems in the back lines with that Reinhardt, but it really just came down to shutting down that nano-boosted Genji. And look at that, man. Just hold that. You ain't gonna go and help your teammates. What do you think you're doing there, son? That is gonna do it. Dignitas get the W with authority, and you gotta be so proud of this team because they came out here, basically everyone's saying it was FaZe 2-0. Dignitas had other plans.
Big plays from everybody on Dignitas, especially Numlock. I thought he was fantastic the last 2 maps, making some big plays as Reinhardt right there. Shadowburn dives in at the end, nano boosted with the Dragon Blade. He hits him with the Earth Shatter, pins him against the wall, takes him out, and FaZe just couldn't get anything going there in the final seconds.
You know, a great control team for sure. Really was hoping, I would imagine, that they would set the tone for the series, right? As they just dominated on control, and certainly something that Dignitas does need to go back and look at, because I'm sure a lot of these other teams are going to say, well, you know what? FaZe handled them easily on that. Maybe we just avoid, you know, taking it to too many payload maps altogether, whether it be hybrid or, you know, or really anything besides control. Focus them on that one potentially. I don't know, but I'm just absolutely shocked with how well done that was executed by Dignitas. Numlock, man, he's my boy. I love that guy.
You know, FaZe looked absolutely amazing on Lijiang Tower and map number 1. You know, Shadowburn, 2EZ just did a fantastic job on Genji and Tracer. And then once, you know, the game got a little bit more methodical, once it went into the payload maps, Dignitas really started to take over.
Well, that's going to do it, folks, and for sure a lot of people are surprised. Dignitas comes out huge. They get the victory 2-1 against FaZe. We'll see how they progress. More Overwatch action coming at you after this.
We are back at the Overwatch Open. We just saw the exciting conclusion of the Dignitas vs FaZe matchup, and we made a lot of predictions on this desk. We had Internet Hulk, one of our professional players, and for EnvyUs up here, and he said this was going to be a 2-0 for FaZe. Well, it did not turn out that way. So, ZP, you're rejoining us. Why don't you start us off with your thoughts on the matchup?
So the thoughts were interesting. First off, of course, you have map number 1 where Shadowburn goes insane, but really, I feel like the real story of this was Linkser. Just incredible play throughout, and we'll get to more of that later.
All right. Chris, anything you want to add before throwing?
No, I just wanted to ask real quick. Who did you favor going into it?
Oh, I absolutely favored FaZe. I thought
Yeah.
FaZe was going to take it 2-0, so I was Team Internet Hulk, and I was wrong.
Well, let's go to Malik for the Dignitas perspective.
Well, geez, Numlock, it seemed like all the analysts had you counted out 2-0. What do you have to say to them about that?
I mean, based off Gamescom, I would have agreed with them. But the last 2 weeks, we've been working really hard at boot camp to make sure that didn't happen again.
Excellent, man, excellent. So, all right, let's go back to that first map. Shadowburn goes crazy, takes you guys all out. It was kind of one-sided. Well, what was going through the comms at that time when you guys were pretty much getting wiped by this dude?
We were trying to figure out different lineups that we could use to make sure that that wasn't happening, like having a monkey defensive with Genji and Tracer going aggressive, having a Tracer and Winston go aggressive with a Mei sitting back. Like, we were trying all sorts of things, but we didn't really have an answer for it on King of the Hill.
All right, so it seemed like every time you guys looked like you were getting ready to get beat in a team fight, you were there with an earth shatter. How do you have that type of situational awareness and know just when to drop that? And you're very conservative with it.
Just kind of having presence of mind and paying attention to the enemy earth Reinhardt's shielding patterns, because most tend to drop it kind of in a pattern. So you just got to kind of get used to the way they do it and predict it.
Right. And then there was the Reinhardt charge to shut down the ult at the end of the game. Tell me what was going through your mind when you did that.
I knew that, so I was in a bit of a predicament because obviously the enemy team were in front of us doing all the damage and the enemy Reinhardt was behind us with the Earth Shatter. So I couldn't protect us from both, so I had to choose which was the best, and I feel like the shutting down the Reinhardt Earth Shatter was the best, and it worked out for us.
All right, so you mentioned the Gamescom. You guys were in last place. After this match, how are you guys feeling now? You feel like you've shaked out the jitters and the rust?
Yeah, like I said, the boot camp really helped us. We put in a lot of work, like 10-hour days, VODs and stuff, so it's going to pay off.
Cool, man. Excellent. Well, congratulations. Team Dignitas is moving on. We're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Way to go, Numlocked. Sick Reinhardt play throughout. But let's kick things off with a study on Lijiang Tower. That's where we first started the matchup. That was where FaZe was victorious. Huck, what did you think of this, and how did FaZe come out on top here?
Well, we talked about a pre-game show that we felt the stronger mechanical team would probably have the advantage here. I was super happy. I feel like FaZe played great. I mean, the first 2 rounds, they won, I think, 99-100-0, right? They didn't even touch it. Dignitas had a little breather in the 3rd round, but overall, Shadowburn just being very effective. And I like the fact that Dignitas kind of, said, okay, obviously something's broken. We need to change it up. They didn't find their pace just yet. I mean, if they have to play again, then obviously that's something they would want to not play on.
This is truly just the Shadowburn montage, and why not? Shadowburn for many a month now has been arguably the scariest Genji in the game, and it's not just what he does with Dragon Blade, is that he has an uncanny ability to go in there and get 2, 3, 4 kills with dash resets, with shurikens. He doesn't need an ult to get things rolling, and it worked out really well for him throughout most of the series.
Yeah, if we weren't looking at Shadowburn, we were looking at too easy. He had a couple 2 kills, 3 kills, I think a 4 to get the final cap on Lijiang there.
Yeah, I think specifically his Tracer's just unbelievable. He's always there, always on point. I would say maybe his ult usage needs a little bit better play, but overall, both of them were very effective.
The thing that scared me a little bit looking at 2easy in this game, though, is that it didn't seem like he was doing quite the level that he does. When FaZe does really well, it's both 2easy and Shadowburn almost as equals, both participating, both showing up a lot, and for the most part, it felt like that was more Shadowburn than 2easy, and it sort of led into what we'd see on later maps. It was sort of the first warning sign, I felt like.
Yeah, I think on the first map he did good, but on the other 2 it kind of, yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about King's Row here. We saw great play from FaZe, but really, I think the story of this match was Lynx on the Mei.
Yeah, here specifically, it's so beautiful. He knows that they know that he has ult, so they start backing up. He puts up the wall, catches all of them. Knowing that chokes there positionally is just a super intelligent move for Mei.
Dignitas as a team, I feel like, has had an identity crisis for a long time where they keep switching up players on roles and all the rest. But if there has been one constant...
You saw that too, right?
Mei, yeah.
The Mei celebration. Sorry, ZP.
When they have one constant, their constant is that Linkser has been playing out of his mind recently. Not just Linkser, but also Numlocked. You can count on Numlocked to come in with big plays on most maps, setting up his team with big Earth Shatters. And Bromos, I think he's hit or miss, but clearly in that last clip was one of his hits.
Well, and actually, ZP, I have a couple questions about the FaZe roster here, because we've seen these same players take on different roles throughout the tournament life of this team. So how did everyone kind of settle into their current roles that they have?
It's interesting.
I'm talking about Dignitas here, not FaZe, I'm sorry.
For Dignitas, it's interesting. I know that there's some players that don't really care the play and supports and all the rest, so R-Tier has sort of had to be the flex person of the team. R-Tier, of course, is once known for having one of the most devastating McCrees in the game, and he's really been swapping. He used to be their Zarya, now Toxian is on Zarya, and now R-Tier is on Lucio, but he's still a good Lucio play. I still wonder if Dignitas is using R-Tier to his best abilities in that role right now, just given what we know he can do on other things.
Yeah, it was a tough fight for Dignitas here. We actually have a deeper dive into the May play from Linkser. We did a little bit of a compilation of his sick plays. So we're starting off on King's Row. Once again, we just saw this one, but it's worth a review.
Yeah, just very smart play. Even the Lucio almost makes it out doing the wall climb, but he couldn't quite get there. I mean, he doesn't get every single kill, but he pretty much, I mean, it's not hard to clean up frozen enemies. And at the same time, he has the emote to finish in style.
Well, and I like too on that one how Anna didn't back off when that wall came up.
No.
Her whole team died, but Grandma stuck around. She was there for her kids, and it was a good effort.
Grandkids.
Grandkids, excuse me.
Yeah, and we're seeing that more and more, where even looking at NRG's games yesterday, where Seagull was doing a lot on the May, Maze can control and carry to a pretty high degree right now, but we're rolling into Gibraltar, and we're going to see what happened here. And honestly, it was just, again, a really good showing by the side of Dignitas, where tank play set up everything.
Yeah, I felt like they were more coordinated, and it goes back to the pregame show where we were talking about, you know, FaZe is a good team. They're obviously very, very talented, but maybe they have some momentum issues. Maybe they do have some tilt issues, because it seems like as soon as they started to question themselves a little bit, you know, they fell apart.
Yeah, I think the thing with FaZe is that FaZe has been one of the most hot and cold teams of all time. When FaZe is hot, they can beat anyone in the game. You go back to
Gamescom.
the qualify. Well,
Right
yeah,
after Gamescom, they beat Rogue that just won the tournament.
Yeah,
That's
that was the back in the Overwatch Open
Yes.
qualifiers in this tournament where they beat Rogue, and they took the wind out of their sails. But obviously, it's variable. You see Shadowburn can go out on Genji, and actually, this is something that I brought up, is that we see Shadowburn on Reaper a lot. I feel like you never see the craziness on him on Reaper that you do on his Genji, and it's more of a testament to his Genji than a knock on his Reaper. I feel like even though Genji isn't played as much as he used to be, I still wonder if FaZe would do better just putting Shadowburn on that more often.
I think it's just more of the skill ceiling. Like, I think his Reaper is very good, it's top notch, but Genji, that's where, you know, he can really make the difference. If you're the best Genji in the world, that skill ceiling is a lot higher.
Yeah, that's really where we saw him lighting up the kill feed. Unfortunately, we're going to see more from both these teams as soon as we get back from the break. First up, as soon as we get back, it's going to be Dignitas versus Ninjas in Pyjamas in a fight to stay in the winner's bracket and get that much closer to that $300,000 prize pool and those games on Friday at TBS at 10 p.m.